Good afternoon. My name is Huan Zhang. I am a first-year PhD student at UC Davis. I was a research assistant at Nanyang Technological University when I was doing this work. The courses are Du Wang. He is a postdoc. Pengfei Zhou. He received his PhD degree and now is the co-founder of Acoustic-based. And Molly was our supervisor. He is an associate professor. And this work is also collaborated with Prasad Mahabachya, who is my supervisor now. So here is a small demo. Oh, sorry, it didn't work. I will show the demo after the presentation to save time. So our paper touches at the encounter profiling. Encounter profiling can be used to identify the users, identify the persons that the user encountered and interacted with in a day or during a social event. It has many applications. For example, encounter profiling can be used for live logging. We all have the experience of recalling our past details. For example, did I meet Bob at Alice's birthday party 2 weeks ago? Live logging can solve these kind of problems. And the second application is name color exchange. For example, if we detect that two persons are engaged in have an interaction, then we can automatically exchange their name cards, which relieves the burden of manually giving the cards. So to be a practical system, there are many considerations. The first one is that people could encounter others at any place at any time, which means that we should not rely on any infrastructure support, such as cameras or localization systems, because these systems are not available to us at any place, any time. And the second consideration is that people normally are not willing to take extra devices for encounter profiling, which requires that a practice system should not rely on any customized mobile devices. Therefore, we propose DopEnc. DopEnc is implemented totally on smartphones. It is an acoustic-based implementation. So in our system, the transmitter sends acoustic signals through the smartphone speaker, and the receiver receives the acoustic signals by the smartphone microphone, and we use the signals with frequency within 18 kHz to 20 kHz, which is inaudible to human ears. To identify the encounters, we propose 2 steps. The first step is trajectory analysis, in which we use Doppler profiling to detect that 2 persons approach and stop in front of each other. And the second, after that, we use voice profiling to double confirm that these 2 persons are engaged in an interactive conversation. So in trajectory analysis, the transmitter sends a sinusoidal wave with fixed frequency, and on the receiver side, we first perform FFT to detect the frequency of received signal. And because the receivers knows the frequency of transmitting signals, so we can calculate the frequency offset, and based on this real-time frequency offset, we can perform Doppler profiling to classify the trajectories. To improve the accuracy of Doppler profiling, we adopt 2 techniques. The first one is undersampling technique. So here is an illustration. Here, because we use the signal within frequency band of 18 kHz to 20 kHz, we must sample the signal at with sampling rates higher than 40 kHz, according to the Nyquist sampling theorem. So if, for example, we perform 10 dots of FFT, and we can see that the FFT beams are very wide, which means it has a very low accuracy. So if we adopt an sampling technique to transform the high frequency band pass signals to low frequency, low band signals, And we perform the same 10 dots of FFT, and we can see that the bins between each FFT is much smaller, which has a much higher resolution. We also adopted the overlapping technique to reduce the past signals, so we can perform FFT faster. By combining these two techniques, we improve the velocity resolution to 2.82 centimeters per second, and we can perform about 12 FFTs per second. After the presentation, I will show the little demo. So we classify the trajectories into 5 categories. And we want to identify the trajectories that may lead to human interactions. So in the first trajectory, we call it a direct approach, that 2 persons approach and stop in front of each other. And in the second trajectory is a roundabout approach, because the path between people could be blocked by a table or by other people, so it will take a roundabout way to approach each other. And in the third approach, the working directions between these 2 people are shifting away. And in the departing category, the 2 persons are walking away, and in the passing category, the 2 persons are passing by each other. So it is very clear that direct approach and the roundabout approach may lead to interactions, human interactions. And the other 3 trajectories are not effective. So because during a short period of time of human walking, the walking speed remains relatively stable. So the change of relative velocities between these 2 people can indicate the change of relative walking directions. So by looking at the relative velocities between these 2 people stop walking, we can see that each category has its own characteristics. And we found that it is an effective trajectory if the relative velocity is positive and non-decreasing between the 2 persons stop walking. So we apply 3 steps to identify the trajectories. The first step is smooth. On the right figure, we show the practical velocity collected on smartphones. And at the bottom, we show the ideal case. And the second step is to remove the stop phase of human walking. And then we apply linear fitting to the last few seconds of velocities. And then we base it on the slope of the fitting line to classify it whether it is a center approach or direct approach or roundabout approach, because the slope of center approach is smaller than the other 2. So after the Doppler profiling indicates an effective trajectory, we then perform voice profiling between these people. However, our work is different from the speaker identification, because we have some challenges. Unique challenges, for example, we do not have the voice database of other persons, because we cannot predict whom we will meet and to collect their database, their voice beforehand. And secondly, we do not rely on we do not have the infrastructure support, which means we do not have the central processing ability. And second, the voice profiling should have a low computational complexity that can be implemented on smartphones. So we propose a distributed conversation confirmation, which only requires that each smartphone recognizes its own owner's voice. So here is an illustration. There are 2 persons, person A and person B. On the right, we plot the presence of owner's voice. And we use 2 parameters to infer whether these 2 persons are engaged in a conversation. The first one is autonomous ratio, because people will take turns to talk. And the second one is high duty ratio, which means that the combined voice trace should have a high duty ratio of presence of voice. So here is a basic workflow of our system. Because we assume that B and C are stationary and A working towards B, because person C does not have an effective trajectory with person A, so it will not perform voice profiling with person A. As to the person B, he will collect the voice trace of person A, and it will trigger the trigger to exchange information with person A if the voice profile indicates in conversation. So in practical settings, many people could coexist at a given small region, so you need to coordinate multiple users. And we have talked about the procedure of one sender to one receiver. And because in our system, the receivers do not transmit any acoustic signals, so our system can support any number of receivers. So we only need to coordinate the multiple senders, who are working to coordinate the multiple, to avoid the signal collisions. And so we propose a priority-based switching. When a user needs to access to a channel, he will get the highest priority and then access the channel. So we implement our system on smartphones such as LG Nexus 5 and Huawei P7. In total, 11 persons are involved in our evaluation, including 2 female student staff and 9 male student staff. And we conduct experiments in both the controlled environments and the real-world use case. We evaluated the Doppler profiling, voice profiling, multiple access, and the overall performance, and the power assumption as well. So for Doppler profiling, we stretch the threshold, the slope threshold to the smallest value of direct approach, and we can see that based on this threshold, we only have 5% of misclassifying rate to misclassify the slope approach into an effective trajectory. And we also evaluated the voice profiling and the multiple access. So in the overall performance, we recruited 3 persons. 2 persons are talking to each other one-to-one, and the third person acts as an interferer. We conduct our control experiments at 4 locations, 4 corridor, street, and more. And we have an average of 7.5% of false positive and 3.8% of false positive. So in overall performance, real-world use case, we host a mentor meets mentee session, and the overall performance is about 9.7% of false negative and 6.9% of false positive. And we evaluate our power consumption as well. Currently, our system will consume a lot of power, about 180 milliamp, which means that our system can work about 13 hours with the LG Nexus 5. So to conclude, DopEnc is a practical in-count profiling system. We do not rely on any infrastructure or support or any strong assumptions. And we adopt 3 techniques. The first one is that we propose a novel acoustic-based trajectory classification. And we propose a new framework of conversation formation that does not require the central processing of the voice database. And we also propose multiple access using the acoustic signals in the context of human interactions. So here is about the paper, and here is some problems with my computer. I will start the demo. This demo is about the Doppler profiling. And you can see I have 2 smartphones on my hands. One smartphone transmits the acoustic signals, and the other one transmits the frequency of that. And then you can see when the smartphone is stable, the frequency of oscillation is 0. And then when I move away my smartphone, the frequency of oscillation is negative. And I move towards the frequency of oscillation is the positive. So we can base this fine-grained, very fine-grained Doppler profiling so our system is actually based on this basic idea, and the acoustic signals is inaudible to our human ears. So that's all, thanks.